Your closest circle is secretly setting the absolute ceiling on your ambition and your income. It's not your innate skills, it's not your relentless effort, it is the people you surround yourself with. It's a pretty heavy concept, right? Proposing that our networks might not actually be our net worth, but rather our net limitation. I want you to think about the number 5. Seriously, picture the exact individuals in your life who fit into that number right now. The 5 people you spend the absolute most time with. When we look at the ultra-wealthy and the highly successful, the text notes they don't operate with a default sentimental view of this core group. Instead, they examine these 5 individuals with an incredibly sharp, almost clinical focus.
So why does this even matter? Well, let's run a quick mental test. Think about the very last time you brought up a really big goal to those 5 people. You know, maybe you mentioned starting a business, making a major cross-country move, or taking a significant risk. Did they lean in with excitement, or did they give you that tiny flinch? Did they immediately say, oh, be careful, or that's pretty risky, or perhaps just give you that polite, passive-aggressive nod of doom? That little hesitation, that tiny flinch, is potentially the most expensive thing in your entire life. It's this quiet form of sabotage that nobody ever really trains you to look out for.
And that brings us to what the source calls the Dark Realism Audit. Basically, it's a 5-step framework built on the strategies of arguably the coldest political mind in history, Niccolo Machiavelli. Now, whether you agree with his philosophies or not, the audit applies a distinctly Machiavellian approach to our personal relationships. It suggests treating your inner circle the exact same way a general treats territory, deliberately and strictly based on utility rather than warm, fuzzy sentiment. It's an admittedly cold, ruthless way to look at human connection, but the core argument here is that this is exactly why certain people keep winning while everyone else is just endlessly grinding. So here is how this source breaks down this framework. 1. Ambition friction. 2. The utility audit. 3. The availability check. 4. The mirroring audit. And finally, 5. Strategic separation. Let's walk through each of these 5 steps and really unpack the specific ruthless logic this framework uses to evaluate every single tier of your social life. Step 1. Ambition friction and the inherent danger of being realistic. Okay, the next time you mention a massive goal to your circle, I want you to watch their faces before they even say a word. Are they curious or are they cautious? When friends urge you to just be realistic, they aren't actually lying to you. They truly believe it. And why? Because your ambition is literally holding up a mirror to the grand dreams they quietly bury just to stay comfortable. Machiavelli observed this historically, you know. Great rulers rarely fell simply because of massive enemy armies. Often, they fell to the cautious advisors in their inner circle who kept them safe right into total irrelevance. The source argues your modern-day circle can do the exact same thing to you. They can hold you back quietly and lovingly, and the wildest part is that you'll probably thank them the entire way down. Moving on to step 2, the utility audit, subtitled The Cold Ledger of Relationships. Now, consider what you've given versus what you've received. Ask yourself, when your phone buzzes with a certain friend's name, is something good about to happen for both of you? Or do they just need something from you again? If it's that second scenario playing on repeat, the framework argues you haven't actually found a friend. You found a subscription you forgot to cancel. Kind of a massive paradigm shift, right? Most people aren't maliciously betraying you. They are simply draining your resources by using the unlimited access you handed to them entirely for free. Which brings us to step 3, the availability check, focusing on the true value of your time. Think about this for a second. When was the last time someone actually had to wait for you? It's a pretty hard truth of human psychology, but people do not value what's always there. They value what might not be. If your evenings, your weekends, and your deep focus time are constantly on standby for whoever happens to text or call first, well, you probably think you're being a good friend. But what the source says you're actually doing is training people to believe your time is completely worthless. And if you train them to believe that, you better believe they will treat your time exactly that way. All right, step 4, the mirroring audit, absorbing the room. Now, this is arguably the subtlest trap of all, and honestly, it's the one almost nobody catches until it's way too late. It goes way beyond just agreeing with your friend's ideas. The theory here is that we don't just absorb opinions from our environment, we unconsciously absorb 3 specific limitations from the room we stand in: their pace, their standards, and their fundamental definition of what doing well actually means. So if everyone around you treats having a stable job and taking 1 vacation a year as making it, your brain quietly internalizes that as the ultimate finish line.
It's like your ceiling isn't actually set by your own ambition at all. It's invisibly set by the standards of the room you've chosen to stand in.
And finally, we arrive at step 5, strategic separation, the final move.
So once you truly see these dynamics of friction, utility, availability, and mirroring, once you literally cannot unsee them, the framework claims there is only one logical move left: creating distance. But listen to this quote from the text. Loneliness here isn't a punishment, it's a furnace. Think about that. Machiavelli wrote his most influential work while in exile, totally stripped of every single alliance he had ever relied on. But that isolation didn't break him, it rebuilt him. The text views periods of profound loneliness not as a penalty for leaving the pack, but as a necessary forge required for true personal growth. And the harsh reality? Almost nobody chooses to voluntarily step into that furnace. The author's prediction here is that most people will hear this, maybe feel a brief spark of recognition right now, but by tonight, they'll be right back in the exact same group chat, stuck in the exact same loop. And why? Well, because the crowd feels incredibly safe, while the upward climb feels incredibly lonely. But history has a pretty strange habit. It doesn't remember the people who stayed comfortable. It only remembers those who were willing to walk away first.
Which leaves us lingering on one final, pretty uncomfortable question. Are you currently just a participant in someone else's comfortable story? Or, after running this dark realism audit on your own life, are you finally ready to write your own? If you're feeling a bit uncomfortable right now, well, according to the source, that is usually the best sign that you are exactly where you need to be. It's all about strategy, not comfort. Let that idea guide how you view the room you're standing in today.